Let me serve you the news now. And in our first story, the new Patriotic Party has launched an attack on President John Mahama, accusing him and the NDC of orchestrating a calculated plan to undermine Ghana's judiciary as part of a larger bid to secure an unconstitutional third term in office. Speaking at a press conference in Accra ahead of the party and other four political parties' demonstration against the Chief Justice's suspension, the party's national youth organizer, Henry Nanabuachi, alleged that the suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu and the nomination of the 7 appeal court judges are not isolated events, rather a deliberate step in what he described as a broader scheme to pack the judiciary and manipulate constitutional interpretation in their favor.
Therefore, reiterate our call for the immediate reinstatement of the Chief Justice and the withdrawal of his unconstitutional action. The future of our republic, the confidence of our people in the judiciary, and the very soul of our democracy depends on this. Let it be known that the new Patriotic Party will fiercely and relentlessly resist any attempt to hijack our judicial system for any political gain. We urge Ghanaians across all divide to speak out and defend our constitution. We urge everyone to be part of this historic demonstration on Monday, 5th May. We must all be part of this effort. There is this sinister motive by Mr. Mahama to pack the judiciary, to seek a judicial interpretation of the Constitution, which will interpret Article 62 so that he intends to go a third term. This agenda, inshallah, shall fail.
Nanabuachi further criticized the appointment of Justice Gabriel Scott Puamang as chairman of the 5-member committee established by President Mahama to probe the petition against the Chief Justice. According to him, his involvement erodes public trust.
Of Justice Puamang as a chair is inappropriate. Justice Puamang, having authored a Supreme Court ruling directly connecting to the petition against the Chief Justice, cannot be deemed to be an impartial adjudicator on this matter. His involvement erodes public interest and represents a conflict of interest. The refusal to recuse himself, despite the availability of other qualified justices of the Supreme Court, suggests a deliberate manipulation of the process to secure a determination that is already preconceived.
Well, moving on from there, President John Dramani Mahama has pledged his administration's unwavering resolve in the fight against illegal mining, warning that companies and individuals destroying Ghana's forests and water bodies will be held to account. Speaking at the May Day celebration held at the Black Star Square yesterday, President Mahama admitted the illegal mining challenge was far more complex than many assumed. We'll hear from him shortly, but here is General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansan, who tore into the government's handling of the Galamsey menace.
We in organized labor are surprised that 5 months into your reign, the Galamsey menace is getting worse. The destruction of our environments, including our forests and water bodies, is increasing with rapidity. Mr. President, we expect you to provide leadership in stopping the menace of Galamsey. We expect your government to immediately revoke, not amend, Legislative Instrument 2462. Remember, organized labor has a letter from your predecessor suspending the LI 2462, pending its revocation. LI stands as a legal doorway through which reckless mining activities are taking root in ecologically sensitive areas.
The president also assured the country of his government's resolve in ending the Galamsey menace, despite the Herculean nature of it.
Against Galamsey is a complex one. And when I was vying for the presidency, I did not kid myself that when I come into office, I will win that fight in 4 months. Yet, we will not give up. Our gallant men of the armed forces and security services are up to the fight and will continue to score successes against the selfish companies and individuals who are destroying our forests and polluting our water bodies. As far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned, I say, a luta continua.
Now, members of the Nadoli-Kalio District Assembly have rejected the president's nominee for the position of District Chief Executive. Mary Haruna secured only 24 out of 52 votes, falling short of the required two-thirds majority. 28 Assembly members voted no, effectively blocking her confirmation. Her rejection makes her the second nominee in the region to be turned down by an Assembly. So far, none of the president's DCE nominees in the region have received approval.
Mary Haruna was among 8 females who penciled their names for the municipal and district chief executive jobs in the Upper West region. All the 8 failed to make it to the 33 shortlisted candidates from the overall 156 persons who applied for the jobs. Determined and with a feeling that she was given a raw deal by the Regional Veteran Committee, petitioned the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, where she was okayed by the committee. The decision of the National Executive Committee of the party ruffled some feathers in the constituency, resulting in deep-seated enmity and creation of power blocks. She was subsequently nominated by President John Dramani Mahama for the position, subject to confirmation from the 52-member Assembly of the Nadolo-Kalio District. The tension-filled voting hall was crammed with family members, close friends, NDC party supporters, and laced with a royal touch from the various paramountcies in that district. The stage therefore was set for a showdown between the two power blocks, yes and no campaigners.
So for somebody demanding that somebody should have a note that indicates that they have assigned him to what? To come and stand for what you call agent for no or yes. I disagree to that.
But just your mouth and say that I am a party this agent for this fellow. You go there with a document. Can we produce those documents now? That is what we are contesting.
There's something called observation in life, and there's something also called an attempt to demonstrate knowledge in life. We are not insisting that nobody wants to stand here no or yes. It is just that as a perception you are creating that those of us sitting here intend to change the outcome.
Member of Parliament for Nadolo-Kalio, Anthony Mankara, attempted to down the tension. He appealed to the local legislatures to vote massively to confirm the only female president DC nominee in the region for the development of the area.
For the sake of unity, to do us the honors and give your support to our sister. I had said earlier to most of you that we are ending it. Let's not end badly.
Our Power Minister, Lawyer Charles Wonga Pozun, also put in a similar appeal. It is not about strength or show of power. We are pleading with you to finish the voting with excitement. It wouldn't be good for us to finish with some bowing down their heads and others jubilating. Mary Haruna appeared in front of the assembly members with an unusual shaking voice but pregnant with a crisp developmental agenda, eliciting very little cheers from the crowd.
I will be a humble servant. Baraka.
In the end, the nominee failed to garner the required yes votes for the confirmation as announced by the acting APOS director of the Electoral Commission, Obrempong, Daniel Kotie-Labi.
No is 28 and yes 24. Now, from what the guidelines, the nominee is supposed to be able to be confirmed. He's supposed to get what? 35. On that note, based on what we just received, she couldn't make it.
Supporters of the two power blocks in the NDC in the constituency left the hall hurling insults and vituperations on each other over the results. Mayor Haruna, however, remained calm and optimistic that she may have another chance from the president for another bout. Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam, Nadoli.
Now, a group of Burkinabe citizens in Accra have taken to the streets in a peaceful march calling for African solidarity in order to ensure peace, especially in the West African sub-region. Burkina Faso's military ruler, Ibrahim Traoré, suffered another major attempted coup, which men claimed they had foiled. However, tension is on the rise, with many security experts warning of dire implications for Ghana's national security. However, clad in Pan-African paraphernalia, some Burkinabe residents in Accra, together with other diasporan groups, took to the streets to call for enhanced cooperation among African leaders.
A chance for African unity by this group of individuals who say they are alarmed at the escalation of tension in Burkina Faso. The country's military ruler, Ibrahim Traoré, who has deferred Burkina Faso's transition back to democracy, has come under fresh military attacks in the last few days. Monitoring developments from Accra, this group and allied diaspora groups say African leaders must work to de-escalate tension in the sub-region.
Send it to Burkina. To Mr. Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, to know that the fight that is in Burkina is about Burkina. This is the time Africans must come together as one people, as one nation, and take their destiny in their hands. Because we don't want what has happened to Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara. We don't want that it should happen again to Ibrahim Traoré. We don't want it to happen to any leader in Africa fighting for the goodness of Africa.
Meanwhile, the Burkinabe ambassador to Ghana, David Cabrera, is giving assurances of relaying the concerns of this group to Ouagadougou.
Chaque voix est aujourd'hui compte, chaque drapeau levé, chaque slogan crié, chaque main levée.
All the messages delivered here today will be faithfully transmitted to His Excellency Captain Ibrahim Traoré. On this symbolic day, we affirm loud and clear that the Burkinabe people are standing.
Il sera informé de cette marche à Accra, de l'implication de chaque institution, de chaque association, de chaque citoyen.
Protesters remain hopeful that their gesture of solidarity will spur on unity amongst African leaders.
Let's talk animal husbandry and food self-sufficiency now, as Ghana's poultry industry is at a crossroads with existing farms fighting to survive amid skyrocketing feed prices, deadly heat waves, and a flood of cheap foreign chicken. With government's Feed Ghana program under scrutiny, farmers in Techiman demand action to save jobs and stop a $300 million import drain. Anas Sabit has been speaking with people in the value chain and filed this report.
Ghana's poultry sector has faced a significant decline due to factors like high production costs and the influx of cheap imported chicken. This has led to a large number of poultry farms closing down or reducing operations. The situation is entirely different here at Green Generation Farms, a shining example of Ghanaian resilience. With 84,000 beds and 120 jobs, this farm is proof that local poultry can thrive. But as Administrator Seth Jemfi tells me, survival here is a daily struggle against forces far beyond their control.
Feed constitutes 65% of our production cost. We almost do 10 tons a day, which costs us about 70,000 per day. Because 1 ton costs us 7,000 Ghana cedis a day, because of the capacity of the farm.
Feed costs have skyrocketed by nearly 40% this year alone. A bag of maize now sells at 350 Ghana cedis, up from the previous 260 Ghana cedis. Same applies to soya and other feed supplements.
For the past years, we are buying maize at 265 cedis, but currently maize is 350 Ghana cedis, and the soya also for the past years we were buying it 300 cedis, but now 400, 450. So it means that production costs have increased, and it is affecting we the farmers.
With government launching its famous Nkonkitenkiten policy, which constitutes part of the Feed Ghana program, Seth is optimistic that the farm's capacity of 150,000 beds can be achieved, a move that would help employ more hands and in turn reduce youth unemployment in the area.
So under the Feed Ghana project that our president has introduced, as Green Generation Farms, we are having capacity of 150,000, which can also grow into 200,000 capacity. We want to plead on the government that we should also look to the Green Generation Farms, because we believe that when the government supply us with the Ngoko Ketekete and also the maize, or even give us money to support our business, we can employ more people so that the country will be able to solve the unemployment program in the country.
But the challenge isn't only feed costs. Climate change is cracking their eggs literally. Farm manager of Philippine Richard says erratic temperatures are slashing egg production by nearly 25%.
Climate change is affecting production because currently when the heat is on, the birds cannot really survive the heat because birds don't really sweat. So in that instance, egg production really goes down.
Management here have, however, taken a bold step of planting more trees in and around the farms to help minimize the rising temperatures during hot weathers.
Locally, what JGF is doing is that we are trying to plant trees in the farms to make sure that during the heat season, we will still have a very cool weather for the birds to be able to survive and to be able to drink enough water for production to go up so that we can get what we need.
The difficulties poultry farmers go through do not only end at the farm gates. It affects all, including egg traders here at the Techiman Central Market. Mama Cecilia Opoku-Bratton has been selling eggs for the past 25 years. She says the business is not profitable as it is at the start.
Small-scale farms are now collapsing because of the high production costs. The same price we sell here is what we are given at the farms, so we get virtually nothing at the end. Our profit after selling a crate of eggs is only 1 cedi.
The Feed Ghana program could be a game changer, but farmers and traders here say it must move beyond slogans. They want government's intervention to help reduce production costs.
We are appealing to government to offer support to poultry farmers, particularly with regard to their feed and vaccinations.
The choice is stark. Support local farms and save jobs, or let imports rule. The question is, will policymakers act before the last Ghanaian farm clucks its final cry? Well, we can only hope for the better. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
Time now for our business update. In our first story, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Echiahene is asking the Bank of Ghana to tread cautiously in the regulation of cryptocurrencies. The Bank of Ghana announced its beginning of a regulation for cryptocurrencies by September this year, but Dr. Tiahene stressed that a proper upgrade of the regulatory architecture was needed before the introduction of new regulations for grey assets such as cryptocurrency.
We need to tread cautiously. Even the asset we have we regulated to the best of our ability? Yes. Today, the banks are sitting, those of you sitting here, apart from all the foreign banks, some are sitting on what I don't know how to describe it. Non-performing asset. So huge. And this asset could have been diversified to other areas, but they've gone to give loans to some institutions. So let us be aware. The regulatory architecture we need, no matter where you are going, whether it's an estate, whether it's private companies, or whether you're going to cryptocurrency, be mindful that regulations are not there for regulation. They are there to protect investors and investing people. So please be mindful of regulation. And we must improve our regulatory architecture. If we want to go into cryptocurrency, don't just hear some Nigerians are doing it, you're going to do it. Have you got the investing in skills?
Yes.
Yes. Upgrading, upskilling. Have you done that? Or you used the old methodology to do the new methodology? So for me, my advice is good to diversify.
Yeah.
It's good to go to higher earning areas. But you must always be mindful that regulation is key and important for the investment space.
Well, responding to this, financial analyst Joe Jackson backed the Bank of Ghana's move to regulate the digital currency, saying that the initiative was long overdue.
Dr. Tiahene is somebody I respect very much, and I agree with on several points, but on this I may disagree with him. Yes, listen, I did my first crypto investment way back in 2005. I've been in the market, I've jumped out of the market, I haven't jumped back into that market yet. But I've seen ups and downs, fantastic returns, and some crazy losses too. So I'm not in the crypto market at the moment. But it is real, right? If you take all the countries in Africa, Ghana was the 5th largest recipient of crypto. And that you cannot throw away. That you have to address. And it's better for it to be regulated. It's better for us to grow in understanding and be able to utilize this as one of our alternative means rather than to say we are not ready yet. I think we are ready. We are more than ready. Listen, we can't avoid crypto. Crypto is going to be one of the alternatives, right? And it's good that the central bank has clearly indicated that they will come out with the rules that will govern crypto. But let's also be clear, right? Crypto, what do you call it? Crypto what? Currency. It is another currency. It may have certain advantages that will make it less likely to be debased like other currencies. But it also has certain deficiencies that we have to look up to. So let nobody think crypto is going to be some silver bullet for investment where you invest and you get fantastic returns. There are going to be risks there. Please, make sure you understand what you are getting into.
It's a wrap for business, and that's how we cap off the AM News this morning. But you want to stick and stay, both our guests join us on the News Review in a bit. We'll be right back.